What does it truly mean to live a fulfilling life as we grow older? Is it about staying busy, caring for others, or simply enduring? Or could the answer be something deeper, something we often overlook until it feels out of reach? In today's video, we'll take you on a journey of discovery through the life of Mary, a woman who didn't just age gracefully, but transformed her later years into a radiant example of what life can be. Mary reminds us that fulfillment doesn't mean clinging to family ties or giving up autonomy. Instead, it's about crafting a life rich with passion, purpose, and personal freedom. Her story is a testament to the idea that aging isn't a decline, it's an opportunity. Through her choices, she uncovered the secret to true happiness, finding joy in what sets your soul on fire, balancing independence with meaningful connections, and nurturing yourself with care and love. We'll explore how small, intentional actions can lead to big transformations. Her life lessons will inspire you to see aging not as an endpoint, but as a fresh chapter full of possibility. From reigniting forgotten dreams to creating a daily rhythm that brings peace and satisfaction, her example offers something for all of us. By the end of this video, you'll gain insights into how to embrace your later years with confidence and purpose. You'll learn practical steps to build a life filled with meaning, how to celebrate your individuality, and why self-care isn't just an indulgence, it's a necessity. If you haven't already, we'd love for you to join our growing community by subscribing and hitting the notification bell. Your support fuels these stories, helping us share more inspiring content. If this video resonates with you, show your appreciation by liking and sharing it. And don't forget to leave a comment. Whether it's a 1 to show you love this topic or suggestions for future videos, your voice matters to us. Let's begin this journey together. Get ready to be inspired. Mary's words carry a quiet, transformative power. I finally realized that to live a joyful old age, I don't need my children or wealth. What I need are these 3 things. A revelation distilled from years of selflessness, sacrifice, and devotion to others. This moment of clarity was not immediate. It came after decades of being everything for everyone. Years where her needs were placed last, her dreams sidelined, and her voice nearly silenced. Yet in her later years, she uncovered a truth so simple, yet so profound, that it redefined her existence. What are these 3 treasures that gave her life new meaning? How did she uncover them amid the highs and lows, the triumphs and the trials? Her story is one of quiet courage and extraordinary insight. It offers lessons not just for aging gracefully, but for living fully at any stage of life. For most of her life, Mary wore the mantle of caregiver. She poured her energy into raising her children, supporting her family, and ensuring everyone's happiness. Her days were filled with responsibilities, her nights consumed by worries. She was the glue that held everything together, the silent pillar of strength. But in giving so much to others, Mary neglected herself. She forgot what it meant to dream, to rest, to simply be. Her identity became entangled in the roles she played: mother, wife, caregiver, and the person she once was began to fade. It wasn't until her children were grown and her home quiet that the emptiness set in. The silence forced her to confront questions she had long avoided. Who was she without the constant demands of others? What did she truly want from the years that lay ahead? These questions marked the beginning of her transformation. Slowly, Mary began to peel back the layers of her life, examining what mattered most. She came to realize that preparing for the future wasn't about wealth or external success. It was about cultivating a rich inner life, one rooted in peace, joy, and authenticity. Through this introspection, she discovered 3 priceless treasures that would guide her through the rest of her journey. The first treasure was self-love. Mary learned to embrace her worth, not as defined by her roles or what she gave to others, but as an inherent part of who she was. She found joy in her own company, strength in her individuality, and beauty in the imperfections that made her human. The second treasure was gratitude. She began to see the magic in small, everyday moments: the warmth of the morning sun, the serenity of a quiet walk, the laughter of a friend. These became her sources of happiness. Gratitude shifted her focus from what was missing to the abundance already present in her life. The third treasure was freedom. Not the external kind, but the internal liberation to live authentically. She let go of societal expectations, the need to please others, and the fear of judgment. Mary decided to write her own story, one filled with choices that reflected her true self. This journey of discovery didn't happen overnight. It took years of reflection, courage, and the willingness to step into the unknown. But with each step, she felt lighter, freer, and more at peace. Mary's transformation was not just a gift to herself. It became a source of inspiration for those around her. Her children saw her newfound happiness and understood the importance of pursuing their own. Her friends marveled at her resilience and found strength in her example. Her story reminds us that it's never too late to change, to grow, and to find joy. That life's greatest treasures aren't found in what we acquire or achieve, but in how we live, love, and honor ourselves. Mary's legacy isn't measured by what she gave up, but by what she found. A life filled with self-acceptance, quiet gratitude, and the courage to be unapologetically herself. Mary's words, simple yet profound, carry an undeniable truth. The essence of happiness in old age lies not in what we possess, but in who we've become and the love we choose to give ourselves. Her story stirs admiration and empathy, inviting us to rethink how we view life's journey. It's not a race to be won, but a canvas for growth and self-discovery. Mary gently challenges the notion that our worth lies in relentless self-sacrifice for others. Instead, she inspires us to cherish moments of quiet reflection, to honor our inner peace, and to find contentment within. In a world that glorifies constant motion, Mary's life is a moving reminder of the beauty found in stillness and introspection. Let us now hear Mary's story, a testament to resilience and grace. At 68, Mary made a life-altering decision. She closed the small restaurant she had run for 34 years in California. It was the day she embraced a lesson that had been unfolding throughout her life, a revelation worth waiting for. "Mom, take it easy now and move in with us. We'll take care of you," said Laura, her eldest daughter, her voice warm with affection. Laura had always been the protective one, offering steadfast support when it was needed most. "Yes, Mom, come live with me. The kids would love to spend more time with their grandmother," chimed in Lucy, her youngest, with her characteristic energy and optimism. Both daughters spoke with deep care, their words brimming with love. They wanted their mother to leave behind the struggles of her past and embrace the comfort they could provide. But Mary, with a gentle smile and eyes filled with wisdom, conveyed a serenity that came from decades of quiet strength. She had endured too much to let anyone's concerns unsettle her. Her journey was anything but easy. 34 years earlier, when her husband tragically passed away in an accident, Mary was left alone to raise her two young daughters. Those days were marked by pain and uncertainty, but Mary's resolve never wavered. She refused to burden others, not her family, not her friends. Instead, she found an unyielding strength within herself. Determined to create a stable life for her daughters, she opened a modest roadside restaurant. The meals she served were simple yet comforting: steaming bowls of rice, hearty miso soup, and dishes that nourished both body and soul. Each plate carried a piece of her heart, embodying the love she poured into her work and her family. Mary's hands were worn, calloused from decades of work. Her back ached from years of labor, yet her spirit never faltered. Every day, she poured herself into her work, driven by one unwavering goal: to give her daughters the future they deserved. Each dollar she earned was a brick in the foundation of their dreams. She sacrificed so much, denying herself the comforts others took for granted. Every choice she made was for them: her children's education, their well-being, and the hope that they could one day lead better lives than she had. When it came time for their weddings, Mary did it again. She gave everything she had. Every detail, every moment was filled with her love and devotion. She made sure those days were special, a testament to the journey they had walked together. But after decades of relentless effort, Mary closed the doors to the restaurant she had built. The years had caught up with her, and the world around her had changed. Still, she stood firm, her heart steady, unshaken by the passing of time. "Mom, it's okay," Laura said one evening, her voice calm yet filled with concern. "Let us take care of you now. You've done enough." Laura and Lucy didn't understand. How could they? They had seen their mother carry the weight of the world on her shoulders for so long, doing everything on her own with strength and grace. She had earned her rest, they believed. It was time for them to give back, to care for the woman who had given them everything. But Mary, with her quiet wisdom, had a different view. She had seen life through the lens of hard-earned independence, and she wasn't ready to let go of that. Over these 34 years, Mary said softly, pausing to find the right words, I've learned that people are happiest when they stand on their own. You two have grown up, built your own lives, and that's beautiful. Now, I need to find peace on my own terms, without being a burden to anyone. Her words were simple, yet they held a depth that only years of experience could bring. It wasn't about rejecting her daughter's care. It was about honoring the strength she had cultivated within herself. Laura and Lucy couldn't grasp it at first. How could they? After all they had seen their mother endure. But then, weeks later, a photo arrived in the mail. A snapshot of Mary, her face glowing with happiness, standing in the tranquil beauty of Nagano. The smile on her face was not one of obligation, but of true freedom. It was a reflection of the peace she had found within herself. In that moment, everything clicked. Mary wasn't rejecting love. She was embracing her own happiness. She had found her joy not in being taken care of, but in standing tall on her own, in carving out a life that felt true to her. Mary's words, happiness is not about living for others. It's about loving yourself and following your heart, had always been with them. Now, those words resonated in a new light. They understood that happiness comes from within. It's about finding peace in solitude, strength in independence, and fulfillment in being true to yourself. Her daughters carried that lesson with them, inspired by their mother's quiet strength. They learned that fulfillment is not a gift we receive from others. It's something we create within ourselves. If you're still here watching this, we'd love to know your thoughts. Comment one below to let us know you're with us, sharing in this beautiful lesson of love, strength, and self-discovery. It wasn't just a lesson in aging or independence. It was a profound exploration of life itself. In a world where the pressures to meet others' expectations often silence our inner voice, Mary has discovered the courage to honor her own needs, respect her journey, and carve out space just for herself. Her decisions spoke volumes about her character, about a deep-rooted self-awareness shaped by time, experience, and an unwavering belief in her own worth. It reflected the quiet strength that comes from knowing one's value, the kind of strength that can only be cultivated through life's lessons. Mary's choice was a powerful reminder of the resilience of the human spirit. It showed us that the most valuable gift we can give ourselves is the freedom to choose our own path, regardless of the weight of others' expectations. They say that old age demands three things: health, relationships, and hobbies. These are the pillars that support a fulfilling, peaceful, and dignified life as we age. But for each person, these elements take on a unique meaning, a personal depth, as we navigate the joys and challenges of our later years. Among these pillars, health stands out as the foundation. Mary's story is one of quiet resilience, a journey marked by determination in the face of adversity. After 34 years of managing a bustling restaurant, the toll on her body was immense. The long hours, the constant physical exertion, and the ceaseless movement had left her back and shoulders in constant pain. Eventually, the pain became overwhelming, and a herniated disc was diagnosed. Yet, like so many of us, Mary pressed on. There was little room for self-care, no time for slowing down. The work had to continue, no matter the cost to her body. But after retiring, something shifted inside her. She began to realize that her body, worn down by years of labor, deserved better care. Each morning, she would tell herself, "Today, I'm going for a walk." And so, step by step, she started to reclaim her health. At first, the effort was grueling. A short walk around the neighborhood park was enough to leave her in agony, her back throbbing with each step. But Mary refused to surrender to the pain. Her determination outlasted the discomfort. Day by day, her walks grew longer. What once seemed like a painful ordeal became a quiet victory, a triumph that unfolded one step at a time. 2 months later, something remarkable happened. The pain in her back began to ease, her body felt lighter, and a shift occurred in her spirit. With every walk, she was rediscovering a part of herself that had long been overshadowed by years of exhaustion and neglect. Then, a chance encounter changed everything. One day, as she rested on a bench, an elderly woman approached her with an invitation. I see you walk every day. Would you like to join our yoga club? It's gentle, and anyone can participate. Intrigued by the idea, Mary agreed. That moment marked the beginning of yet another transformation. Through yoga, Mary found a deeper connection to her body, uncovering strength and flexibility she had never imagined. During one class, she shared her realization with her fellow participants. Until now, I believed my health was something my children would manage. But now I know that my health is my responsibility. I shouldn't burden others with the cost of my care. I must take care of myself. This is true freedom. This realization was a turning point, an epiphany that shifted her entire perspective. Mary understood that her well-being was not a burden, but a responsibility she needed to carry for herself. And with that understanding came a quiet, powerful sense of liberation, one that came from within. The second essential element is relationships. As we age, we realize that true fulfillment comes not just from having companions, but from building deep, meaningful connections. One afternoon, as Mary strolled through her neighborhood, she spotted a sign calling for volunteers to help plant flowers in the local park. Though she had never gardened before, something sparked inside her. It felt like an invitation to break free from her routine, embrace a new experience, and meet new people. She made a decision to join, sensing that this could be the beginning of something transformative. On her first day, Mary's task was simple: pulling weeds and preparing the soil for new plants. While working with a shovel, a shy 8-year-old boy approached her, hesitating. "Am I doing this right, Grandma?" he asked. Mary offered a warm smile and gently guided him on how to hold the shovel, showing him the proper technique to dig carefully without disturbing the roots. In that small, quiet moment, a bond formed, bridging the gap between generations. It wasn't just about gardening. It was a reminder of the power of teaching and the joy of connecting. Weeks passed, and Mary became an integral part of the volunteer group. She forged bonds with people of all ages, from the young boy she'd helped to others, both younger and older. The joy of shared purpose, the satisfaction of working together, brought them closer. One day, while watering the flowers, an older woman asked, "Do you grow flowers at home?" Mary smiled warmly and replied, "I've never grown anything before, but thanks to these flowers, I feel like I've started a new chapter in my life." It was in that moment she realized, it's never too late to bloom. Through the garden and her relationships, she found a renewed sense of purpose and an antidote to loneliness. She shared this insight with the group. The greatest fear in old age isn't loneliness. It's the feeling that you've lost your value. By embracing new experiences and forming connections, you discover your worth and overcome isolation. Then there are hobbies, those passions that ignite joy, spark curiosity, and give life a new sense of meaning. When Mary decided to take up piano lessons at the age of 68, her daughters were stunned. "Mom, are you really going to learn the piano?" they asked in disbelief. It was something none of them had expected from their mother at this stage of her life. But Mary had long held a quiet dream. Life's responsibilities had always prevented her from pursuing it. Now, in her retirement, she was determined to bring that dream to life. At first, it was a struggle. Her fingers fumbled on the keys and the music felt strange. But Mary's resolve never wavered. Step by step, lesson by lesson, she began to feel the joy of progress. What had once been a distant wish was now becoming a reality. Each note, a small victory. Through this pursuit, Mary rediscovered herself in ways she hadn't imagined. Her story proves that it's never too late to take charge of your health, build meaningful relationships, and follow your passions. Aging doesn't mean the end of growth. It can be the start of new beginnings, new purposes, and newfound joys. Even something as simple as pressing piano keys felt like a challenge. Her fingers no longer moved as they once did, but Mary never gave up. Mary spent countless hours each day, tirelessly practicing, repeating the simplest exercises with unwavering determination. Every note was a struggle, but with every attempt, her fingers grew more agile. Slowly, the clumsy sounds transformed, becoming something richer, something more soulful. What had once been awkward and hesitant was now full of emotion. It wasn't just music anymore. It was a piece of her soul. She often shared with quiet resolve, time isn't just something to pass. It's meant to create. Every note, no matter how small, is a chance to turn life into something beautiful. The real danger isn't starting something new as we grow older. The real danger is letting time slip by without daring to grow. It was as if Mary's soul had awakened to new possibilities, ones she had never before explored. 6 months later, everything had changed. Mary wasn't just playing the songs she'd cherished since childhood, she was living them. She felt every note, as if her fingers now danced across the keys with a grace that came from deep within. Music became her breath, each melody filling her with a joy that only she could understand. When she sat at her piano, it wasn't just playing, it was discovering magic. It was like a young girl unearthing a hidden treasure, something pure and beautiful. One day, her eldest daughter, with a mix of concern and love, asked, "Mom, do you love living alone?" The question hung in the air, heavy with a daughter's worry, a fear that her mother might be lonely. But Mary's response was calm, her love shining through her words. "I love you deeply, which is why I chose to live apart. Being with you all the time may not be love. It could be about my own comfort. True love is giving you the space to live freely without feeling bound by my presence. Let me have my independence. That's how I love you." Her daughters fell silent, touched by a truth they couldn't yet fully understand. Over time, though, they realized that their mother had made the wisest decision. They began to see that love wasn't about physical proximity. It was about allowing each other the freedom to grow, to live on their own terms. Months later, her youngest daughter, with newfound clarity, said to her sister, "If Mom had lived with us, I don't think she would be as happy as she is now." In that moment, both sisters understood the depth of what their mother had already known. True happiness didn't come from the comfort of others, but from the freedom to live authentically. And even though they no longer depended on one another in the same way, their bond remained strong, grounded in mutual respect for each other's lives and choices. Mary's daily routine was a perfect balance of activity and serenity. Every morning, she greeted the day with yoga, not just as a physical exercise, but as a sacred space to center herself. It was her moment to feel grateful, to breathe deeply, and to set the tone for the rest of the day. Those mornings were her own. Her afternoons were dedicated to volunteering at a local meal service. It wasn't just about giving, it was about connecting with others. Sharing a meal with someone in need filled her heart in ways words could not express. It was her way of making the world a little brighter, one small act of kindness at a time. In the evenings, after a day well spent, Mary would sit at her piano. The soft sound of the keys was her ritual, a moment of calm where she could reflect on the day. Music, for her, was not about performance. It was about self-expression, a way to nourish her spirit. Mary didn't seek fame or recognition. She wasn't aiming to become a concert pianist. Her piano was her sanctuary, a place to express what words could not. On weekends, time seemed to slow as her children and grandchildren gathered in her home. There was no rush, no tension, just the shared warmth of being together. They ate, laughed, and talked, each respecting the other's space. No one crowded anyone else. Everyone had room to be themselves. In those moments, Mary felt a profound sense of peace. It wasn't the quantity of time they spent together that mattered, but the quality. They didn't need to be together every day. What mattered was that when they were together, they were truly present. If you're still with me and finding these lessons meaningful, please leave a comment with "1" below to let me know you're still here. In Mary's eyes, the true treasures of life weren't wealth or fleeting pleasures. They were good health, deep connections, and a zest for living. Simple joys like playing the piano, giving from the heart, and the embrace of family brought her fulfillment. For her, aging was not to be feared. It was a gift, one that offered wisdom and perspective. The real fear? Losing the drive to care for herself, to pursue her passions, or to find joy. Mary knew that age alone didn't guarantee a life worth living. One day, her eldest daughter arrived, troubled. "Mom, a friend's mother needs surgery. She has no savings, and now her children are covering the hospital costs." Mary, calm and steady, didn't flinch. She walked to a small wooden drawer and retrieved a time-worn savings book, proof of her years running a diner, her hard work and discipline. She handed it to her daughter, her voice soft yet firm. "I won't be a burden to you. This is my first treasure." That treasure wasn't just money. It was her independence, her ability to care for herself without relying on others. She had also invested in health insurance and senior coverage, always planning for the future with a calm, responsible mind. Her second treasure was the relationships she had carefully nurtured. Through her volunteer work, she formed lasting friendships. One of her greatest joys was the hiking group she led. Every month, she hiked with her friends, their conversations and laughter echoing through the trails. These outings weren't just for fitness, they were about bonding, shared stories, and connections that deepened over time. As Mary's life grew fuller, so did her schedule. Her daughters often teased her about her busy calendar. "Mom's too busy these days to pick up the phone," Lucy, her youngest, would laugh. But they both smiled knowingly. They saw the truth. Mary had built a life of purpose, free from worry or fear, a life where happiness was hers to define. In the end, Mary realized that the greatest inheritance a parent can leave isn't wealth, it's peace of mind, the freedom to live fully without burdening others, the wisdom to shape a purposeful life, filled with meaningful relationships, and to always make room for what makes the heart soar. Her legacy wasn't in things, but in the quiet strength of her independence, the kindness in her connections, and the joy she found in each day. One day, Mary planned a trip to Hokkaido with her closest friends from the piano club. It was a trip unlike any other. After years of motherhood, she was finally venturing out without her children. The freedom was exhilarating. For the first time in a long while, she felt truly alive, unburdened by responsibilities. Over tea one afternoon, surrounded by laughter and the warmth of friendship, Mary shared her insight. As we age, friends become invaluable. They anchor us in a world that changes too quickly. Our children will always view us through their own lens, shaped by their needs. But friends see us as we truly are. They reflect not only our flaws, but our growth, offering us space to evolve without fear of judgment. Time doesn't just pass. It accumulates, layer by layer, shaped by our choices. That's what gives it meaning. But soon after that unforgettable trip, Mary's world was turned upside down. One cold winter afternoon, following a long piano session, she received a call that would haunt her forever. Her dear friend Luke, who had stood by her side for over 3 decades, had passed away alone. He had lived a solitary life after her children moved away. It wasn't until a week later that anyone discovered her body. The news struck Mary like a thunderclap. Luke, so full of life and love for her children, had spent her final days alone. The sadness was crushing, but what truly unsettled Mary was the thought, is this my future too? Will I be forgotten, die alone, just like Luke? That fear ignited something deep within her, a realization that living solely for her children had caused her to lose herself. She thought, I can't end up like Luke. I must live for me too. There has to be more. From that moment, everything changed. Mary threw herself into her piano band with even more passion. What had begun as a simple hobby became her lifeline, a space where she could connect with others who shared her love for music and life. It wasn't just about playing the piano anymore. It was about creating joy, fostering connections, and offering hope. When they performed at nursing homes, Mary wasn't just playing music. She was sharing something priceless, the gift of connection. Seeing the smiles of elderly residents, hearing their laughter, she understood that giving and receiving were the true rewards. It was no longer about her. It was about the difference she could make. The band began performing regularly, reaching beyond nursing homes, spreading happiness to people of all ages. Mary had found her purpose, a purpose that transcended age. People are always surprised when they hear about us, she said, a proud smile on her face. But we know it's true. Age is just a number. With passion and something to give, you can do anything. It's never too late to make a difference. It's never too late to live fully. With that, Mary's heart swelled with gratitude. She understood that it wasn't just the music, nor the love of her friends, but the quiet strength within her that would carry her through the years ahead. She had learned the most important lesson. Fulfillment didn't lie in what she gave to others. It was found in what she gave to herself. Every note she played, every smile she shared, became a brushstroke in the masterpiece of her life. For years, Mary believed happiness came from caring for others. She poured her energy into her family, her friends, and even strangers, offering a piece of herself to everyone she met. Yet, as time passed, she began to see things differently. life had taught her something deeper. True happiness doesn't just come from giving. It blossoms when we live with passion, embracing each fleeting moment and nurturing the quiet satisfaction that grows within. It's about finding joy within ourselves and allowing that joy to ripple out into the world. She discovered that to give fully, she must first nourish her own spirit. How could she offer anything if her well was dry? One evening, as the light softened and shadows grew long, Mary's youngest daughter, Lucy, arrived at her door. Her face was tear-streaked, her body shaking with silent sobs as she sank onto the sofa. Her voice cracked, the weight of years of pain pouring out. "Mom, I want to get a divorce. I can't take it anymore," Lucy cried. The depth of her daughter's agony hit Mary like a physical blow. No mother ever wants to witness such sorrow in her child's eyes. It was a pain so raw, so profound, that words felt inadequate. Mary didn't rush to fill the silence with empty words. Over time, she had learned that sometimes the best comfort is simply being present. She sat beside Lucy, wrapping her arms around her, not to shield her from pain, but to stand with her in it. No need for grand gestures, just quiet understanding, the kind that only years of living can cultivate. She let Lucy cry, allowing the emotions that had been bottled up for so long to surface. When the tears finally slowed, Mary gently placed her hand on Lucy's trembling one. Her touch was a steady reminder of unwavering support. She met her daughter's gaze, her eyes soft yet filled with a strength that spoke volumes. Then, with a voice full of calm resolve, Mary spoke. "Lucy," she said, her words steady yet filled with the weight of a lifetime of lessons. "I don't know if I can make this easier for you, but look at me. I lost your father when I was young, and I raised you and your sister alone. Those years were full of doubt, fear, and exhaustion. There were times I didn't know how I could go on, but I never gave up. I took it one step at a time. And now, despite everything, I'm living a life richer than I ever imagined." She paused, her hand still on Lucy's, offering the strength she had earned through years of resilience. "This life is yours, Lucy. You have the power to shape it however you choose. If you need to rest, do so, but never give up. I know you have the strength to face whatever comes your way." In that stillness, a bond was forged, one that no words could fully capture. It was a connection built on love, but also on the shared strength that only life's trials can bring. And as Lucy left that evening, her heart was lighter, knowing that no matter what lay ahead, she would never walk alone.